Mr. President, this past Saturday at 9 p.m., Chicago police officer Ella French was shot and killed during a traffic stop on the Chicago South Side. Her death is devastating. Officer French was 29 years old. She'd served as a member of the Chicago Police Department since 2018. Her brother described her as the epitome of a good Samaritan. A fellow officer said of her, and I quote, "She truly showed the community that she loved them and would do anything for them." Officer French's partner was also shot and critically wounded. We pray for his recovery. 2 men have been charged by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office in the shooting of these officers. A third man has been charged by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Illinois for conspiracy to violate federal firearms laws. I hope that justice is delivered swiftly and fairly for the perpetrators of this horrible crime. And let me be clear, as devastating as her death, scores of individuals are shot every week in Chicago, and many lose their lives. For each of their families, the loss is just as intense as the loss of Officer French. And as heartbreaking as Officer French's death is, it is also infuriating. We learned yesterday from the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office that the gun used to murder Officer French was straw purchased from a gun dealer in Indiana. What is a straw purchase? It happens when a person who can pass a background check buys a gun and gives it to a person who can't. Straw purchases have long been the way that guns have funneled into the hands of those with felony convictions in Chicago, then to the streets, then to deadly incidents. According to the charges filed yesterday by the U.S. Attorney, an Indiana man bought the handgun from a dealer in Hammond, Indiana, gave it to a person with a felony conviction who allegedly used it this last weekend to kill Officer French. For years, I have been fighting to toughen our laws against straw purchases. Right now, straw purchasing is treated, listen to this, as a federal paperwork violation for lying on a federal gun purchase form. Charges are rarely brought, and when they are, the sentences are often just a matter of months. That needs to change. I've joined with Senator Leahy of Vermont and Senator Collins of Maine to introduce the Stop Illegal Trafficking in Firearms Act, a bipartisan bill that would make it an explicit federal crime carrying felony penalties when a person straw purchases a firearm. We need to take this type of gun trafficking seriously. It's time for us to stop treating straw purchases like a paperwork misdemeanor. As we have learned in the death of Officer French, it is a deadly act and should be punished accordingly. Officer French's death is also a call to action for the strike force recently set up by the Department of Justice to crack down on regional firearms trafficking in Chicago. I met with Attorney General Garland in Chicago when he launched the strike force 2 weeks ago. And I have written to him now, urging that the strike force immediately prioritize the investigation and prosecution of straw purchases like the one that took the life of Officer French. The strike force was established to keep a sustained focus on firearms trafficking in Chicago. That focus should include stopping straw purchases and holding the perpetrators accountable. I look forward to working with the Justice Department and with my colleagues to find ways to crack down on the deadly gun violence that straw purchasers help to fuel.